Hello YouTube, this is Robert Fantastic with another video. I have a story to tell about entry-level white supremacy, but this is part 2 of my series. Yes, there's going to be a series. Now earlier in my first video, a month ago, I put on the Bennigan shirt as symbolic of what's going on, about all the facets of white supremacy. Here's the thing. The restaurant business, hotel business, all those things, all these, people call, entry-level jobs, is black people that is often our first taste of white supremacy. You'll see words like hostile work environment, uncoachable, aggressive. If you're white, them same qualities make you a great leader. If you're black, those same qualities make you dangerous, because you're seen as someone who rocks the boat. One of the first things I notice, particularly the restaurant where I'm at, whenever a female gets promoted, especially a white person, whenever they get promoted, they always get promoted in like a month, maybe 2 months. But lately, with the last two general managers, one is a feminist, and one is is gay. But I'm pretty sure she's racist. And you know how I know this? There are 3 things at that job that could particularly get you fired: pre-closing, cash, and security. Now, if you're a white supremacist and you don't like no black person, or if you don't like someone who dates black people, that's very often the rules of pre-closing and things like that. They're often used as tools to push people out they don't like. But whenever it's a white woman, the one thing I've noticed about that particular GM, or general manager, you like to say, it gets swept under the rug. You make a mistake, it gets kept upon. The word of a random white woman is more important than that of who happens to be an established black male, who knows his stuff, who does not violate the rules, so they'll make up stuff. Out of desperation, white supremacists will often make up stuff. There was an incident where I was written up approximately 3 weeks ago. I allegedly threw a spatula across the kitchen. I did not throw a spatula across the kitchen. Now, the general manager, true to form, she's sneaky. She calls on cell phone and said, well, I want to know if I heard this little incident about you throwing a spatula. I was like, no, I didn't throw a spatula across the kitchen, which I did not. Now, I was a little upset when I had to do fries some more, and I thumped it across the grill. I thumped the spatula across it in a little frustration. But in the system of white supremacy, there's no such thing as a little mistake. Any mistake you make is automatically interpreted as a sign that you're dangerous or your behavior is unacceptable. But yet the same one can sleep with a subordinate and it's okay. It gets swept under the rug. You do something wrong, she's using the rules to fire you. But as I recall, you're not supposed to be dating a subordinate either. But you know what? Hey, I digress for now. I digress, and etc., etc., etc. The thing I've never understood, when they use these rules, they only apply it to certain people, either black people or people who slept with black people. Let me tell you about this, about a white lady. I'll call her Mangela. She has a black husband. She didn't want her certified. Yes, the woman was lazy. Yes, the woman was sorry. But how many white women, explain why Sammy Bell could just waltz right on in there, be lazy as fuck, be sorry, and still become certified. No one interferes with her. She was talking all kinds of greasy. Again, I raise my voice just to hear Patty's being called back. It becomes a big issue. It seems to, so that also tells me that black masculinity is suppressed. I mean, yes, currently right now, all the managers are men. All except for one are white, which was not of her picking. And he's also one of the main targets of her. And get this, she's half white and half something else. But at the same time, I get this feeling that she does not like black people. It goes to the saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words, or actions speak louder than words. I'm sorry. Actions speak louder than words. Sometimes I get my stuff mixed up. I do shoot from the hip. I do that. I don't believe in rehearsing. But whenever white managers are working that night, or working at night, that kitchen's set up perfect. Back of the house is clean, dishes are put away. But anytime the black manager works, the back of the area is completely destroyed, potato cutter's still dirty. All those things affect closing procedure to try to force him to pre-close, and we don't do that. The only reason why I grabbed a couple of pans that day is because one of the white managers was working. I wanted to gauge and see what he did. Next thing you know, the GM knew about that too, which told me she recapped me. And the reason why I know those little interworkings, I was supposed to be in MIT, and because of my race, I was denied, because I'm not allowed to make mistakes. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I lost a child through an unethical adoption. My car wasn't working at the time. I had less money, so I had no ability to get my car fixed at that time. And when we got back, we worked 6 days a week, for a month and a half straight. Because it's a new store, people want to slam up in it. Hey, I get it. I'm not mad at the guest. But that woman snapped at me nasty like you wouldn't believe. That woman absolutely snapped at me over something that wasn't my fault. Again, why would you focus on me? I happen to be a black man, huh? But I'm sure that's all coincidence, though. I'm sure it's all coincidence. Now, it just seems to me that if it's a white person, that word is golden. See, pulling the shit back was nothing but a setup. I wanted to gauge a reaction. And almost instinctually, she goes, oh, you could keep it real. She goes, and I go, oh, well, we could keep it real, quote unquote, like she knows anything about that. Fakest woman I've ever seen in my life. Fakest person I've ever seen in my life. There was a young man who worked in that store. He was only there for 2 days. His first conclusion was, you know what? That is the fakest woman I've ever seen in my life. This is the fakest person I've ever seen in my life. And you know what? He was not off the mark. I see the fakeness. But of course, that's one of the mechanisms of white supremacy, is to put on a really good act. To act like you're somebody's best friend. To get information to pull out another black person who's a threat. See, when people are united, that's when they're dangerous to white supremacy. When you bust people up, that's when you can pick them off. And that's what she's trying to do in this instance. And it's not working. She's repeatedly said, well, it's a shame that you're the only one getting told on, and I know you're not the only one making mistakes. Like she's my best friend. Honey, if you were my best friend, I'd be a certified manager. So you're not fooling me. What's that little cute little saying? You're not pulling the wool over my eyes anymore. It's funny, and that's another thing that racists do. They'll project. They'll make it out like you're this and you're that, but that's their way of distracting you from what they're doing, from distracting what they're on. And already, the girl that I mentioned, Sammy, but that's the name I'm going to use. It's not a real name, obviously. Just like you're not going to see my face. Damn that. I'm not stupid. Because I know what white supremacists are on. It's not always white people that are dangerous. It's the half-white people that are dangerous. Not people who are black and white. Because the people who are black and white, ask Jesse Wood. Ask Colin Kaepernick. They're black and white, but they're more down than a lot of the pure-blooded, dark-skinned Negroes. With the exception of the guy that I'm working with as a manager. Now, because he's a target too, and he knows it, and I know it. What I did yesterday was just to prove it was a theory. It was a shit test, if you will. It was a chess move. See, and that's one thing that black folks have to do. We have to learn how to play chess with these white supremacists. You have to learn to think 2 or 3 or 4 moves ahead, because they are. As black people, we must be on point, and we must be on code. You know that little part in Star Wars where, the shit, where the little rebel ships are being targeted by the Death Star, and they're trying to pull away, and the pilot is panicking, goes, "Oh my God, I'm gonna get killed." Stay on target. Oh my God, they're locking on it. Stay on target. As black folks, we have to be like this. Oh my God, they're hitting me with a sexual harassment suit. Stay on target. Stay on code. They hit me up with a HR issue. Stay on code. They're saying that I threw a spatula. Stay on code. Because they are. But it's all part of that system of white supremacy to stop you from ever having anything, to ever stop you from being set up to be a provider. White people are never interfered with this at this level. Because white people can literally fail their way to the top and still be a success in life. As black people, we make one mistake, it's held against us forever. Like when I got upset, hey, I'm human. Like I said, I was going through a lot at that time. Didn't tell her this because she's the type of person, she'll use it against you as a weakness. I don't tell them I'm diabetic. There's a good reason for that. Because she'll use it as a weakness. That's part of staying on code. It is a shame that we have to watch our P's and Q's much harder. Because we know because of the color of our skin, we can't do any right. It's a shame that a white person could just say something and it's fact, it's gospel. Particularly if it's coming from a white woman. Especially if it's a white woman that's sleeping with the boss. But guess what? When she got fucked up into trouble, guess what happened? She threw her under the bus. Because when it came to her, she threw her and her girlfriend under the bus. Her girlfriend got fired because she works for the same company too. But then again, only white supremacists can get away with shit like that. As black people, we can't even look at another crew member without it being a problem. What a shame. But some of us just don't get it yet. And I'll admit, with that manager, I thought he was a coon. But once I actually got to know him and started to realize he wasn't a coon, see, all that manipulation, all them trying to say, is just them trying to split us apart. I know what this GM is on, because that's what white supremacists do. They're very good at divide and conquer, and we have to watch out for that. And another reason why I know that she's a white supremacist, let me tell you about another assistant manager. Her name was Sissy. No, she wasn't the best manager in the world. She was lazy. She didn't want to clean up the milkshake machine. But that's not why they fired her. They fired her for quote-unquote pre-closing, but that's not why. What it was, she stood up to her and said, you know what, you totally have your way. And she totally does. The DM is so deep, the district manager is so deep in this woman's pocket, he can almost floss her teeth. He can almost floss his teeth with her pussy hair. Because her being a butch lesbian, And yes, I said butch lesbian. And I know that some people are thinking, gee, how can somebody who's mixed with white, not pure white, and be gay, but be against black people at the same time? Our struggle, or your struggle is our struggle. No, 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 no. No, damn that. Our struggle is not your struggle. Damn that. Because very often gay people are behind a lot of that stuff. It was like that at IHOP. It was like that at Bennigan's. And very often it's like that at Five Guys. Mm. There's just some people who don't mean no right. Again, Sissy has a black husband. The white little lady, Mangela, black old man. One of my boys who had an issue, he's a black male. The manager who's trying to fight, she was trying to fight some legal stuff right now, caused by the same person who's lying on me, happens to be a black man. So people say, oh, there's no racism. That's a lot of damn coincidence. I don't see it happen to white people. White dude leaves a dirty pan. We could have did the same thing he does. But I can imagine us being just petty when we do it. Or why couldn't you just clean it up yourself? Well, why couldn't you just clean it up? It's bullshit. You should see this little white chick. You know she grew up with white privilege. You could just tell. I mean, some people you could just tell they don't like black people or people of color. She's with a white dude now. The only reason why she with him is because he's a manager and he can get her somewhere. The company is so corrupt it's sickening. And I'm about to be out. Because I know they ain't going to let me be shit there anyway. There's no point in wasting no time. I'm too old to be wasting my time. If I was 20, different story. I'd hang out for a few years just because I can. But I don't have time on my side. And most white supremacists know this. Because every manager she's ever hired, or white men, I'm sure she tried to get a couple of white women, but she hasn't been able to do that lately. But she'd rather have a white man than have me and my boy be managers. I guess that's too much color. That's too much black on black, huh? But it's not black on black crime. It's the same thing that Dr. Henry Bello went through, but at a much higher level. It's the same thing. When there was a quote-unquote harassment claim, there was no harassment. See, when we go on shootings or whatever, we're not like white people. We don't go on mass shootings and kill everybody in sight. See, white people do that. When black people do it, we're surgical. When we do finally snap, and it takes a lot for us to do that. There are days I wanted to go postal. But I know better than that. I'm not serving no sentence for no white supremacist. I ain't doing that. I know how to shake it off. But unfortunately, Dr. Henry Bello not really experiencing prejudice at that level like he did at the hospital in the Bronx or up in New York. I forgot exactly which borough it was. He snapped for a reason. He's the story of all of us. He is my story. Even though it's entry-level white supremacy, which I speak of, but it's still our story. It is my story. It is my homeboy's story. It's my next homeboy's story. It's my story. It's all our stories. Just like when Christopher Dornan snapped. He probably was a coon. See, it's dangerous. See, for white people, when a coon becomes conscious, they're seen to be the most dangerous one. You can't help but notice how they killed him. Mikhail Johnson killed him. Now, why is that? Theodore Straczynski, the Unabomber, taken alive. Dylan Roof kills 9 churchgoers, taken alive. Robert Deere goes into an abortion clinic, taken alive. It's all part of the same machine. Maybe different parts of the machine, but all part of the same machine. Different gears, different cogs, but the same machine. Fam, when we establish our own economy, we can throw a big-ass wrench in that machine. See, integration was never about our equality. It was about our economy. And the sooner we learn this, the better off we'll be. See, I used to be Mr. Kumbaya, and we can get along with all white people, and most white people aren't racist. See, I don't think that no more. Nigga moments do that to you. They make you wise beyond your years, whether you want to or not. They make you wise beyond your years. Well, look, YouTube, I'm about to wrap up this video. But like I said, just be aware of it, folks. And if you see white supremacy, fight white supremacy. Don't just lay there and take it. I am. I'm about to take the fight to the enemy. I'm not going to just lay there. And I suggest none of you do the same. And none of you do either.